Over 7,000 years ago, a being landed on Earth. He had 10 heads, 20 arms. He could fly across oceans in minutes. He had weapons that could destroy entire armies in a single blast. Ancient humans called him a demon king. The Ramayana, one of humanity's oldest texts, describes Ravana as the most powerful being on Earth. He ruled Lanka, an island kingdom of impossible wealth and technology. He was a master of science, medicine, music, and warfare. Ancient texts describe him as the greatest scholar who ever lived. So here is the question mainstream history never asks. How did a so-called demon know more about science than any human civilization of his time? Let's start with the most obvious question. 10 heads. Is that even biologically possible? On Earth, no, but Earth is one planet. Across the universe, evolution could produce radically different biology. Consider this. On Earth, the octopus has 9 brains, 1 central brain, and 8 mini-brains in each arm. This gives it extraordinary parallel processing power. Now imagine an alien species that evolved similarly. Multiple neural centers, each processing a different function simultaneously. Combat strategy, scientific analysis, language processing, environmental scanning, all running at the same time. That is not a monster. That is a supercomputer made of biology. Ravana's 10 heads were not a curse. They were an evolutionary advantage. Now let's talk about his vehicle, the Pushpaka Vimana. Ancient texts describe it as a flying palace. It could travel at the speed of thought. It could carry thousands of passengers. It responded to the mental commands of its pilot. For thousands of years, historians called this pure fantasy. Then, in 1904, a text called the Vaimanika Shastra was discovered. It contained detailed technical blueprints, mercury vortex engines, anti-gravity propulsion, electromagnetic shielding. Modern engineers have studied these blueprints. The principles described are not random. They align with technologies we are only beginning to develop today. Was the Pushpaka Vimana a myth? Or was it a spacecraft so advanced that ancient humans had no words for it, so they called it a flying palace? Ravana's arsenal is where things get truly fascinating. The Brahmastra, described as a weapon that could destroy entire armies, poison the land for generations, and create massive shockwaves or even annihilate the world. Modern scientists who have read these descriptions have one word for it: nuclear. The Chandrahas, a sword of light that could cut through anything. Sound familiar? We call that a laser today. The Pashupatastra, a weapon that could manipulate the very forces of nature. Some researchers believe this describes electromagnetic pulse technology, capable of disabling all other technology within range. Every weapon Ravana possessed, when stripped of its mythological language, describes technologies that humanity only invented in the last 100 years. How did ancient humans imagine weapons that would not exist for 7,000 years, unless they did not imagine them? They witnessed them. Now let's look at where Ravana lived. Lanka. Ancient texts describe it as a city of gold, walls that gleamed in the sun, towers that reached the clouds, technology that ran on energy sources no one could explain. A city so advanced, it was said to have been built by Vishwakarma, the architect of the gods. Notice that phrase, architect of the gods, not architect of humans, of gods. Modern researchers have searched for Lanka's location. In 2001, marine archaeologists discovered structures 40 meters underwater in the Gulf of Khumbat, perfectly geometric, man-made, dated to over 9,000 years ago. A city older than any civilization we currently recognize. Could this be Lanka? And if so, who built it? So let's put it all together. A being arrives on ancient Earth. He possesses biology, unlike any native species. He commands a craft capable of interstellar travel. He wields weapons centuries ahead of their time. He builds a city of impossible sophistication. And he possesses knowledge of science, medicine, and astronomy that would not be rediscovered for thousands of years. Ancient humans had only one framework to understand this. They called him a god, then a demon, then a myth. But what if the Ramayana is not mythology? What if it is the oldest contact report in human history, written not by storytellers, but by witnesses? Ravana was not the only one. Across every ancient civilization on Earth, beings descended from the sky performed impossible feats, left behind knowledge and structures we still cannot explain, and then disappeared. Zeus, Odin, Rakal, Quetzalcoatl, Indra, were they gods, were they demons, or were they all the same thing?